Hi, everybody. This is Vladi Kuna, and I have an amazing Carolina Lopez here, and she has published a book called
How I
Oh,
became a
How I
superhero.
Became Superhero. I got stuck. It's an amazing book, and I'm speaking on behalf of my daughter, who's 10. She absolutely loves that. And before I actually let me introduce Carolina a little bit more. She is a mom of two, which probably is what gave her passion to see how important it is for us parents to really create this belief in a children where they can believe that they can do anything. But she's a really successful transformational coach. She is performing in an educational sphere, and she has programs working with kids and adults, both of them. But mainly, we want to talk about. I invited her to talk about this amazing book because I met Carolina in Hollywood, which was we spent a great week together. She's a fantastic soul and really passionate about kids. And as a mom, I have to say I love people who can add anything, and especially mindset wise, to children. Welcome, Carolina.
Hi, Vladi. Thank you so much for having me in your wonderful show.
Thank you. I'm gonna ask every author gets my first question. That's what's your intention for the book?
Okay, my first intention is for kids to love it and have fun. I think that life and books and learning has to be fun. So it's my first intention. After all that, kids and adults and their parents have fun and enjoy the book, and parents enjoy their kids reading the book and learning from it. So my second thing that I could say after having fun, first of all, this is a book for having fun, it's an adventure, is of course sending the message of self-belief. It's I always love the term of learning without even realizing it. It's
Mhm.
like getting a message and learning about your inner superhero and taking that back to the world.
Yeah. I love that because when Elizabeth, my 10-year-old, finished it, she said, Tell Carolina that I love Cece as my favorite character. And obviously, I love what you just said because really the illustrations are beautiful. May I just say it's fantastic, and kids do learn through visual a lot. So obviously, having an amazing pictures and lessons. And then she said, I really felt how Cece could, like, she always could do it. So the belief and empowering belief it gives to a child is really powerful because, especially at the early ages, the education is really important. And having the right mindset education, I mean, we both work in this sphere, so we know how important the early ages are. And kids are amazing. They can grasp this stuff way faster than us. Um, what would you say? I love the illustrations. Do you want to say something with the illustrations? It's really amazing. Fantastic job.
Yes, the illustrations were really also an inspiration of love. I have teammates, people, my team that work with me. One of our designers really got inspired on, I want to do the illustrations. So instead of searching outside, it came from within the team. I said, okay, perfect is better than done. He also has a 4-year old, and he loves designing, and we're all connected with what kids are connected to today. Like kids love colors, love this type of illustrations right now, catches their attention. And so we really were into that. So it was a teamwork, and we were like working together for many months. This was not something done easily, because we were like, we want to get this expression, we want to get this image, we want to get this scene of the book captured with this
Yeah.
illustration. So that was a work along, as I was writing the book. We were like working on the illustrations and in this way, and still we think we want on our next edition of the book, which is going to be like really soon. We're going to update those illustrations, so they're going to be still more captivating.
Mm. Great spoiler alert. This caught my attention, which says, I'm beautiful. It's so powerful because for kids, they very often come home from school and they say, oh, like, this is no, I'm not good at this, and my friends do this better. You have two daughters. What would you as a mom say? It's one of the message you would give now, you would give yourself. Like I like to sometimes go back and say, what would I advise the younger version of myself, knowing what I know now with the kids? And the reason I'm asking you the question is because now my son turned teenager, and Elizabeth, you met at 10. And now I always told, like, when they babies, I told once, how parents with our age kids have it so easy because like, but the way we look at it is just the food and carry the stuff. But really, there is a different level of challenges that starts with the older kids. What would you advise younger version of yourself, knowing what you know because you raised amazing two kids?
Well, I think this book is written to my younger self and inspired on my daughters and inspired on every kid, actually. I believe that we as human beings are born with an innate and natural knowing of our greatness and who we are. And as we grow up, we start getting detached from that, or we start forgetting about that. And that doesn't happen because we forget about it. It's because we get involved in how the world is operating and what our parents are telling us. Maybe they're telling us that life is hard and we have to be careful. And they, we want to jump or go up in a tree and they say, well, you're going to fall down, be careful. They're protecting us, but at the same time, they're making us fearful, and they're making us a little bit suspicious about the world, or losing our confidence. And kids are naturally connected with that, and they, keep on holding on to that. But as this starts happening, it happens. Nobody does this on purpose. It's just how
Yeah.
it operates. I believe that it's so important that if we help our kids stay connected to that power, they're going to become unstoppable human beings, like being able to affirm themselves. This is what book teaches kids, how to go in the world using powerful words, using the energy of words that are uplifting instead of words that will self-sabotage you. How to say things to yourself that will build yourself up instead of tear you down. So that's the image that you just shared, that it's Cece in the mirror. That's one of the secrets of the superheroes, right?
Yes.
That superheroes use the power of words. And so she hears that secret and she said, I'm going to use that too. Just as a superhero, when he's going to go into a battle, says to himself, powerful, I got this, I can get through this challenge. Then we as human beings, the kids can say, Cece battled with her self-image in the book. So she says, I am beautiful. She wrote that in her mirror, and she every day stood with a superhero stance pose. And then she repeated, I am beautiful. That is a very sophisticated and proven technique, even as adults. When we want to raise our self-esteem, let's not underestimate the power of saying, of affirming ourselves and using these powerful words, and even writing them in a mirror. It might, for many people, seem like it's something simple, and they would like disregard, like, this is too easy. No, that's proven science behind this. Even the stance, there's
Yeah.
science behind what happens in your brain and the chemistry of your body when stand in that superhero pose, and how the energy changes. And if you then repeat a powerful word, a power word, a power word, as we call them in the book, that can really change how you approach a challenging situation. So the idea of sharing these moments of the book with real life situations that appear here, very light also and fun, kids can relate to that. So kids can see how Cece and her friends do things and say, I can do this too.
I love that you said the word relate because they kids are very, if it's relatable, they can really go. I love also when you talking about vision. I've had on my mirrors for probably over 5 years, I am more than good enough. with the lipstick on the top, and like you cleaning the mirror and the top always stays untouched, and then once a month I kind of take it all off so it can be properly clean and write it there again. But what it does, it's like you are really beautifully demonstrating in the book, is like that has more power than anything because your mind thinks in pictures. So your mind, seeing the picture of the mirror, saying, I am strong, I am beautiful, I am good enough, whatever it is, those affirmations for kids. And I love the postures you're talking about and the signs, because the truth is, it's like the V posture, it's the victory, like it sends the signal through the physical body. And in the older days, this was really well used. But these days, lots of stuff it's funny, lots of stuff is really forgotten or not used because they're using the fingers for the phones as opposed to writing, and handwriting pulls the energy, much higher frequency of holding a pen, and even the shoulder, as they was you're writing on the board, would cause a sort of movements, energetic movements, where it would give a confidence. And I love how much you're talking about confidence in the book, because I know we look out, and please tell me your opinion, because like you're amazing at this, is we look out in the world and we talk about kids have too much confidence, but they appear confident. But I'm actually noticing that the inner power, they are way weaker than we were as a generation, when we had to follow the tree, like you mentioned, and do the tough stuff. Make a decision, didn't work. We had to just quietly hide it in front of our parents, go and do stuff. Whereas these ways, it's almost like you mentioned, parents don't do it intentionally, but we bubble them up too much these days, trying to protect them so they don't get hurt. And then when they get older, they can't cope with certain things. You really beautifully put out the confidence and the inner power, which is the self-esteem, not just the outside confidence.
Totally. I believe that today's kids have much bigger challenges and are in a more hostile environment than we were in. I mean, I remember that, we played outdoors. I was not born with a cell phone in my life. I had a cell phone once, I was a teenager. That was the first time I saw cell phones. Kids right now not only are born with cell phones, now are born with artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're bombarded in a way that it's much harder to protect themselves and choose their thoughts. I mean, we had the chance because our life was a little bit slower, I can say, or I mean, we had that chance, to build ourselves up and then decide and then move forward. But now you're scrolling at seconds, and they're constantly bombarding. We parents, even if we want to, we have no absolute control of what's coming to their cell phones.
Mm-hmm.
And the information out there is infinite, basically. So they're receiving, they're comparing themselves, they're seeing, they're basing themselves on likes, and so they start feeling overwhelmed sitting in their homes.
Mm-hmm.
They're sitting at home in a very safe space, but feeling absolutely vulnerable.
Yeah.
And so I truly believe that today it's a need that kids start getting back to their own essence, so they can start filtering that, so they can start feeling more confident with whom they are, and be happy with their image. Cece, she's made fun of her hair. She has a curly hair, messy, whatever, and that's her nature. And kids in school make fun of her because she doesn't fit into that image that we're all forced into being. So she starts working on herself, so she's confident and she's a superhero with her hair like that. It doesn't matter at the end. So yes, it's very important to build confidence, and
I just
for
looked at that. Standing in a superhero pose.
yeah, she loves it. She always practice it. And the boys, of course, boys in the we have the bullies, and the reason they're bullies is because they have issues at home, or their parents are not there, or their parents are fighting. So things that are normal
Mm-hmm.
today but we're disregarding them. Not maybe the issues that are happening, but we're disregarding the effect it has on kids. We
Mhm.
don't realize that if we're not giving our kids love, our kids are going to be showing that lack of love towards others.
Yes.
And that's how they, sometimes are aggressive towards others. They bully others, or they are bullied themselves. So that's a thing that it's, mentioned in the book from a child's point of view and what they can do without parents coming and advising them. And so the story just shares, I mean, the situation and how they overcome it. So that's the beauty, because it's fun, it's light, it's on a deep, but it's strong enough to give you some of the most powerful proven tools.
Yeah. It's fantastically done. And tell us a little bit about the treasure. I mean, how much you want to, obviously, it's up to you how much you want to share, but the book is out, so you can get it on Amazon right away. But tell in a nutshell, like, what is it? You're showing us all the benefits, and really there are. I've read the book as well myself. My child love it. I know Carolina and her heart, and it really has, from a mindset point, it has those really super points, because I love the sentence you said that sometimes they want to do it themselves. They don't want the involvement of the parents. And this is why we often say walk the talk, because they're watching us more than we think as a parents. We underestimate how much they watch, how much we make decisions. We're not only talking about the way you dress, we're talking about how do you deal with stress? How do you deal with people when somebody upsets you? So how do you handle the challenge that comes in a family, and they observe and absorb as well. They're like sponges. They thinking all this. So, tell us, like, in a obviously all the benefits are amazing for the children and their mindset. Tell us a quick, like, the story, which
Okay,
is amazing.
before I tell you a briefing about the
Yeah.
adventure, I wanna pick up on something that you said that I think that's amazing. Kids are always watching us, and they will not necessarily follow what we are telling them to do, but they will follow what we're showing them that we do.
True.
So the best way to teach a child to eat healthy is seeing you and the whole environment being healthy. And they will naturally start picking up on that. It's like the same. If you want your child to be respectful, you're gonna see how you are respectful with your partner or with them. If you talk to them respectfully, they will talk to everybody respectfully. If you yell at them and you tell them, hey, behave yourself and don't yell, they're not going to do that.
Yeah.
So what I'm doing with this book is also helping parents tell their kids, you know, um, sometimes you tell your kids something and they will not listen to you. And then auntie or your friend, you're
Yes.
another adult in their family comes and tells them that. And they say, my aunt said this. And it's like, I'm telling you all the time. They listen sometimes to somebody else, just because it's not your mom or dad. That's very important to know. So with this book, what I'm doing is, look, I'm telling kids what maybe you as parent would like to tell them, tell yourself good word, uplift yourself, use powerful vocabulary, do this that will make you feel more confident. So, and it's not me, the author. It's the characters telling them,
Yeah.
characters that are their same age,
True.
somebody they'll pay attention to. So it's the kids in school, not necessarily the author or the adult. So okay, closing that piece, there is what the book is about. Um, I wanted to make this book very appealing for kids. So the story is about Cece and Max. They're two kids that are best friends at school. They have superheroes, the love for superheroes in common. No, none of them are, you know, um, fitting in school like the perfect model. So riding their bikes, they find this chest. It's a chest that it's revealing. They find out that only a true superhero can find the chest, and they manage to open it because they are understanding they're superheroes. And they tell them, if you want to become a superhero, you have to follow some missions. And the mission is to overcome certain challenges. So they start following the missions. They start becoming superheroes in school until the secrets, the chest is also found by the bullies. who follow them without them realizing, and they get to the place where they hit it, and they start using the powers for being mean. So
Mm.
now they are like, okay, the new challenge of the chest, and then there's an amazing character that comes here and advises them. I'm not going to tell you much about it. Says, okay, you got to get these bad guys become good guys. So that's your biggest challenge, and all of you have to overcome something. It's a challenge inside of you. You have to become. You have to win to your fear, or to you the thing that is really scaring you or something difficult for you. So they go through all the challenges throughout the book until at the end there is an amazing plot twist. um and I'm not going to say much, but they really unlock some true superpowers. So that's a beautiful open ending for the next books, which are going to be them using their true superhero powers.
Thank you so much. See, now when you were talking, there was something I loved about the book. Being a mom and being a coach and mindset, working in a mindset sphere, it's how it really helps people, but not people, children to understand how you need to control your mind, but in a gentle, subtle way where you're telling them because you can use the powers, good or bad. It's always a choice. And this is what we teach, obviously, where we tell adults. We choose whether we choose a bad or bad. Nobody's actually forced to do anything. It's always us. And I often say to kids, like when they're talking about like, oh, if somebody robs the bank, but the guy was only, because obviously they saw something in the movie, but the guy was only outside checking. So why should he end up in a jail? And we always say, once you become a part of a crime, you're actually responsible for it because you said yes to it, even though in a smaller part, but you said yes to it. And that is beautiful because you use all these beautiful principles, and there are people who use them for bad things. And the kids, and I think this is what my daughter was really pointing out, is how Cece really chose to stay good despite all the stuff, and she could have gone different direction, but she didn't. And like it was really surprising for me as a mom that she picked on that part, like how she wants to always stay good and do the good things and be always fair to other people. So that is another powerful message. I mean, amongst many that Carolina described, but really, it's really interesting to watch your own child describing the book because they think differently, but like all the little points, how they see it. And that's why it's amazing what Carolina did. They make it relatable because it's them. They see themselves
It's
as
them.
them, not just someone like you were talking about. It's always us advising them. They're not interested in that. They're interested in their own peers. And that's why they sometimes go the ways, and we worry as a parents that they're going to join a gang maybe, or are they doing the right things? But the really truly understanding is they learn what's right or wrong, and they choose despite who they meet and what they do. And if we can teach them this, which another part is, it's a book. It's not, like you're not scrolling anything through. It is still a book, and it's a paper. It's the energy. You touch it. You see the illustrations. It's
Yeah, you
all
smell
that
it.
connection. Yes, and
True,
kiss
true.
it. But it really is because we as a humans talk about the most important thing in this planet is connection. And the biggest problem we're facing on the planet is disconnection, is the alienation, separation. Them spending some time with the book in their own time, in their own reading, as opposed to, playing games. And I'm not saying all the games are wrong, but still the connection they get and reading. Also, they're using their imagination because although it has a beautiful illustrations, they imagining themselves to be like my daughter was definitely Cece in the book,
Yes,
flying
yes.
through.
That is something also that was thoughtfully put into the book, having characters that you can relate with. So I love that the main character is Cece. It's a girl, it's a
Mhm.
superhero girl. We don't have too many superheroes
Yeah.
in general. So she is the leader there, she's the one that's following. It's her story. Although the other ones also have an important piece, and usually if a boy would relate a lot with Max, which is Cece and her best friend
Best
Max, which
friend.
is he also has his own issues. He has a bigger brother that's the cool guy that plays in the school team, and he always feels like a shadow. He's not confident enough. The brother takes all the credits and everything, and nobody. So those things that happens. Boys also have those issues. They want to lead, they want to be alpha in some kind of way, and they're not, and they're learning how to do that as teenagers. They have a lot of self-doubt. So Max also has to overcome that
Mm.
piece of not feeling confident enough
Yes.
in who he is until he says, I'm gonna do something. And that's I'm gonna spoil this little piece when he says, okay, you know what, I've always wanted to play the guitar and all that, and he doesn't feel like he's good enough. And said, I'm going to play in front of in the talent show, in the school talent. I'm going to play in front of everybody, the whole school, alone, and then like go into that stage. And after that, he feels like, okay, I overcame it. I am me. It's
Mhm.
like so those stories I think that are relatable with kids, and they will start finding some skills and tools to apply in their own lives to feel as the characters feel as they move towards their goal.
Yeah. I love, I seriously love that. And I love how they're making decisions. It really is important part for kids as well. Learn to make decisions. So I'm going to have Carolina to say final thoughts to all of you, but you will find her the link for the book, description and everything in the chat. You can contact Carolina if you want to talk to her. Please do get this to your children. It's actually already international bestseller, but because I was too fast, I bought the one which before they printed with the sticker, but it's already international best-selling book. It's absolutely stunning. It really is highly recommending. I love the messages for your children. In fact, I enjoyed it as an adult because what it does to you as a parent, you think to level to the kids sort of frequency to talk to them in their language, because we sometimes, just because of the experiences and obviously the age and everything we already went through, we tell them the things we see them, but they, with their comprehension and awareness they have at their levels, can't always relate to what we're talking about. So it actually helps you as a parent to speak differently to a kids, point out the things the way Cece, for example, or Max did, because that is what kids relate better to. Any final thoughts for your audience?
Yes, thank you. My daughters right now are 19 and 21. And when I was proofreading the book,
Mhm.
it's not aimed for their ages, but I read it to them and some of their friends. They loved it. Actually, now that I have the printed version and we got it, my daughter, my 19-year-old, came to me, sat with me and said, Mom, can you read it to me? She asked me to read it to her. So she, put her head here. She sat and we sat on the couch. She put her head here, and she said, "You read, and I'm gonna go. I'm gonna be watching the illustrations." So that's what we were doing. I was reading,
Mm.
and she was pointing, and I said, "Oh, I like her hair. Oh, I like the I don't know, the nose of the dog. I like how this, she was paying attention to details as a kid. So I would say that what is in this book is for all ages. This is from 0 to 100. Anybody can relate with this because we're talking about our own inner superhero. We all have it. You as a mom, as a dad, your child, even if it's a little one, it's a teenager, or it's an older or younger adult, we all relate to this. These are things we all can do. You as an adult,
Mm.
me, if you go to my bathroom window mirror, I have that. I have it written. I'm proud of me for, and then I have a blank line, and I fill it in every day with something different,
I
whatever I'm
love
proud
that.
of me for that day. And So, and my daughters have seen that forever, and they have that in their mirrors too, and because that is a powerful technique that is for all of us. So, at the end of the day, if even if it's for your kids or for you, I absolutely believe you are gonna love it. And I would really love to hear your comments, what resonated with you and with your kids, especially with your kids, what resonated with them. So share that with me. And oh, and by the way, at the end of the book, there is a QR, and there's an amazing gift for you and your kids there. You know, you have superhero missions, you have an online game your kids can play. It all involves thinking like a superhero. So this is think and become a superhero.
I love it. I think we all want to play, regardless of age. So that was a great pointing out.
Play, and play with your kids. You know, there's superhero missions you can do at home. You know, it includes the mirror work. So it's like, have fun. Just have fun. As I said, I'm going to end. My final words are going to be the same as my opening words. Have fun. Life is beautiful. We're here to live it. We have to enjoy the process, and whatever, even if it's our learning process or overcoming our challenges process, becoming healthy process, becoming happy process, let's enjoy it because life is short in general, and we really want to have fun and enjoy our way through it.
Thank you so much. And I love what you said because one single exercise you pick on the book, whichever it is, because Carolina's talking about more, can become a way of life. And I love what she's talking about the mirror because I can vouch for it. Kids know it. And if I sometimes wipe it or our cleaner comes and just cleans it, they immediately come and point out, oh, you need to write the thing on the mirror. Because they're so used to it and you don't even read it, like it really is something that you as a family can have fun with. And I love what you said, have fun. So
Have
thank you
fun.
so much.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming, for sharing all your amazing news, sharing your time and energy. It's amazing book. Congratulations on becoming an international bestseller. It's a beautiful achievement. And I love your book. My daughter loves your book. I'm going to have my son reading it next. And I recommend it to everyone. And all the links are under the video. So you can, guys, reach out to Carolina and let her know, or have your child recording a message and send it to her. It's really important for us authors to know what children think because that just gives us a joy as well. Thank you.